Hi, Kelly Zeke here. I'm one of Trinity's children's ministry directors, and I'm also part of the worship team, and I am coming to you with today's Bible break. We are still in Acts in the midst of Paul and his buddies' missions, and there's some dispute in Acts 15 as to what's necessary for salvation. It ends with a letter to the churches which says that faith in Jesus is sufficient. And then we enter Acts 16, which takes us through Paul and Silas's missionary journey in Syria and Cilicia, where some pretty crazy stuff happens. There's an earthquake that causes prison doors to fling wide open. There are some pretty radical conversions. And then in Acts 17, we find ourselves in Athens with Paul. And he is all out of sorts because he sees that this city just has all of these idols. And people hear him preaching and they invite him to come to this big important meeting where they ask him publicly to explain this new teaching that he is presenting. And he's like, well, let me tell you, I've walked around and I see that you are a very religious people, but I've noticed an inscription on one of your idols that says, to an unknown God. And so Paul has this moment where he's like, let me tell you about my Jesus. You know that song, Ann Wilson? It's great. Anyway, Paul says, the God who made the world and everything in it is the Lord of heaven and earth, and does not live in temples built by human hands. And he is not served by human hands as if he needed anything. Rather, he himself gives everyone life and breath and everything else. From one man he made all the nations, that they should inhabit the whole earth, and he marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands. God did this so that they would seek him and perhaps reach out for him and find him, though he is not far from any one of us. For in him we live and move and have our being. And that is Acts 17, verses 24 through 28. So I had a couple of thoughts surrounding these verses that I just highlighted. First of all, you may have heard the part of scripture that says, for such a time as this. That actually comes from Esther. And Mordecai is explaining to her that you are in this position right now for a reason. And you have a purpose. And so today I just want to ask you to consider, how has the Lord equipped you for such a time as this? What gifts, what passions, what abilities has he given you that are to be used right now to show others who he is? And then also, I just wanted to issue a challenge to seek him, seek his face, seek his counsel and his guidance as you live and move, and just serve as his hands and feet on this earth. Just take that encouragement today.